If you want to know what's going on in Rockingham County government, check out Rockingham County 411. If you're interested in county governmental programs, projects, and services, don't miss Rockingham County 411. Public Information Officer Mabel Scott will share important, crucial news you can use with Rockingham County 411.
Rockingham County 411, you're in a good place. I'm Mabel Scott, your Public Information Officer, and it's that time of year again to talk to the experts in tax administration. Starting off today, we're going to be talking with Babby Moore, who is the Personal Property Manager, and Stephen Yantz, the Tax Collection Supervisor. And then later on in the show, we'll be talking with Mark McClintock, the Tax Administrator. So let's start off with Babby. And as the Personal Property Manager, first tell us, what is personal property?
Well, personal property, for lack of a better term, is anything that's not dirt.
Anything that's not dirt, okay.
In the tax world, which specifically means a mobile home that's not affixed to a permanent foundation, watercraft, aircraft, any unregistered and permanently tagged motor vehicles, and household goods that are used in conjunction with rental property. For instance, if someone supplies appliances like a refrigerator or stove to a renter, then that's considered personal property.
Thank you for making that clear. Okay, let's say, hypothetically, I own a business in Rockingham County. What do I need to list?
Well, businesses are required to list their furniture and fixtures, their computer equipment, and any other machinery and equipment that is used in conjunction with the income production for that business.
Okay. Is there anything else I should report other than personal property or business equipment?
Well, yes, if you've made any improvements to your real estate or your real property, such as construction or destruction, Rockingham County also requires that you report the number of dogs or cats that you have and if they've been spayed or neutered.
Okay. Will I automatically get a listing form?
Well, you have to meet certain criteria in order for that to happen. So the answer is yes, if you meet this criteria. You listed personal property in 2020, or you're the new owner of real estate in Rockingham County that you purchased in 2020, and if you received a property tax exclusion, such as the property tax relief for the elderly.
Who actually needs to list?
Anybody who lives in Rockingham County or who owns real estate or personal property that is located in Rockingham County.
Tell us, what does it mean to list, L-I-S-T, list?
It's exactly what it says. It's to report or itemize that property that is deemed to be taxable by the state of North Carolina.
And when do we need to list?
Okay. The regular listing period in North Carolina begins on January 1st of the tax year and ends on January 31st of the tax year. In 2017, new legislation was passed so that anything that happens on a weekend or a holiday that requires a taxpayer action or something that they're required to do, it extends it to the next business day. So this year will be February 1st.
Okay. Where do we go to list?
In normal times.
Normal times, I know.
Right.
Before COVID.
Right. Pre-COVID, we would ask that you would come to the Governmental Center here at 371 NC Highway 65 in Wentworth to list. However, in order to help slow the spread of COVID-19, we are asking our citizens to mail in their listing forms if they can do that. We are available by phone or by email to answer any questions or to provide assistance if needed. Our office is open, but we are asking that anyone who visits the Governmental Center to adhere to our strict guidelines relating to COVID-19 and to protect both themselves and our employees in the building.
Can we list online?
Yes, you can. This is something that's fairly new to our citizens in Rockingham County, but you can go to our website at My Rockingham County NC Tax, but only if you have listed in the previous year.
Okay. Is there a deadline to list by?
Yes, as stated before, it's normally January 31st, but because January 31st falls on a Sunday this year, February 1st is the deadline.
Okay. Does this deadline apply to me if I am listing my business equipment?
It also applies to those who own business personal property.
Okay.
However, businesses can request an extension until April 15th, and that's because they don't usually have all their tax records prepared by the first of the year. So they can request an extension, and they have until February 1st to do that this year.
Okay. Will the county mail me a listing form?
Yes, we do mail listing forms. If you listed in the previous year, you should receive a pre-printed listing form. If you're new to Rockingham County, or if you've purchased any personal property that you've not listed in prior years, you need to call our office and request a listing form. Or you can go to our website again and download a form at My Rockingham County NC Tax.
I love that. My Rockingham County NC Tax, TAX. What do we do if we don't get a listing form and have something we need to list?
You can always call our office at 336-342-8305. And again, you can go to our website. We have a plethora of information out there and all kinds of links that you can click to get the information that you need.
And we appreciate all of those links. Are there other sources that we can use to help list correctly and make sure we're doing the right thing?
Yes, ma'am. With all listing forms comes a set of instructions. We don't always like to read instructions because they can be tedious. So we also have on our website links to YouTube videos that have instructional, you can actually see how to list a video.
Like tutorials?
Yes, they are.
Good, good. Do you accept a listing form by email?
Unfortunately, at this time, we are not set up to receive a listing form by email or by fax. And the reason for that is we need a secure line to be able to do that.
Yes.
There's a lot of personal information on our listing forms. However, again, you can list online if you don't want to mail your listing form in or bring it by the office.
Because doing it online, it is secure.
It is a secure site.
Good. Are there any other things that we should know to be sure that we list timely and correctly?
Yes, ma'am. Again, the deadline is February 1st. In order to not receive a late listing penalty, we need your listing form back by then. If it's postmarked by the United States Postal Service, February 1st, then it is considered timely listed. And it's only considered timely listed with a postmark by the U.S. Postal Service. Your listing form must be signed, should be signed. If you don't sign your listing form, we will mail it back to you, and it causes those to be delayed in being listed timely.
And that's why you want everyone to try to work ahead of schedule.
That's correct. We'll be very busy, we feel like, with wait times because of the COVID-19 virus and the guidelines that we've set in place.
And since you're on the show today, if people have any other questions about personal property, they can
always call us. Our direct number to the listing department is 336-342-8299. And to the tax office is 336-342-8305. And you can always find information on our website. It's available 24/7, 365.
Good, good. So we've talked with Babby Moore, our personal property manager. Now let's go to Stephen Yance, our tax collection supervisor. When are taxes due and when will they be delinquent?
Well, Dr. Scott, that's actually a very interesting answer because it's a two-part answer. According to North Carolina General Statute 105-360, technically, your property taxes are due September 1st of the current year. However, there's a caveat in the law that basically the taxes don't go delinquent until after January 5th of the following year. So in this case, it's January 6, 2021, it is considered delinquent as that date. Now, there is a stipulation in the law, as Babby mentioned for the listing, about the postmark rule. If you get your payment in the mail by January 5th and it is stamped January 5th or prior, even if we don't get the payment until several days later, we can backdate that so it's not considered delinquent and interest does not accrue. But now for this year though, January 5th falls on a Tuesday. So there is no extra date on that as well. Again, if January 5th had fallen on a weekend or a holiday, then you get the next business day. But in this case, it does not. So we actually, and what happens on January 6th is if you have any unpaid balances, you get an initial 2% interest as of that date. So it's very important that you get your payment in by January 5th. And then if you have any unpaid balances thereafter, you get an additional 0.75% interest on the first of every month thereafter. So a lot of people, even though the taxes are due by September 1st, will wait until closer to January 5th to pay. And that is why we consider our busy season to be the end of December and the beginning of January. And in this case, that would be December 29th through the 31st, and then January 4th and 5th.
How has COVID-19 impacted or changed your strategic plans to properly handle the busy tax collection season coming up very, very, very soon?
Well, that's a loaded question. As we all know, COVID has impacted everything and everyone,
Yes.
and it has for us as well compared to previous years. Typically, in a normal year, we could staff 4 to 5 people on our front counters just constantly taking payments on behalf of our taxpayers. But due to social distancing policies, one, we can't put that many people on the front counter because we need to keep them separated.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, we're having to limit the number of people that come into the building at one time. Also, on top of that, the rest of the staff who wasn't all, working the front counters taking payments, they would be in charge of returning phone calls. But because we're this year, one, we're staffing people down at the guardhouse to help the people get checked in. We're expecting a huge flux in visitors this year and walk-in traffic, but because they have to check in, we know that's going to cause a delay. So we're providing staff to assist them with that. On top of that, we're providing some staff members as runners for our elderly and disabled. They're going to come out to the car and help them with their payment, run the receipts back and forth,
That's
so they
good.
don't have to get out and increase their risk of exposure. So as you can imagine, with all of this going on, it has most certainly created some staffing challenges and could result in longer wait times than normal.
Yeah, but people can understand those longer wait lines because you do want to do all you can to keep everybody safe and healthy.
Absolutely.
Yes. So how do you plan to address some of these issues and reduce all of these wait times?
Well, we knew this year we had to be very creative and think outside the box. We wanted to not only prioritize, creating shorter wait times for people, but keep their safety and well-being in mind as well. So for this year, we're actually going to implement several ideas to try to help out with this. One of the things we're doing is we're taking over the break room downstairs and creating an additional location where we can staff a staff member to take payments. And this will give us 4 people taking payments at all times, even through lunches and breaks. So that's really going to help at least the line to keep going. Now, no one has to worry. The break room is going to be set up with a plexiglass barrier to keep everybody involved safe, so there is no exposure. Also, on top of that, we at the tax department are entirely committed to staying as long as it takes to clear everybody in the parking lot and return every call. So however late that may be, we are willing to stay and do what we need to do to help our taxpayers. In November, we will be sending out automated calls to all the taxpayers that have not paid yet, just giving them a friendly reminder that, hey, if you can, come in a little bit earlier. That's really going to save you some wait time, since we do expect longer wait times the last week of December and the first week of January. And as I mentioned before, we are going to be providing runners so that people who can't get out of their car very well, who do not or just don't want to come in, we can help you at your car and you can stay in there until the transaction is done. And then again, that's just to limit the risk of anybody that may come in. And the last thing is one thing we are formally going to be staying open until 6.
6 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am. Normally our hours are 8 to 5 every business day. In this case, we're going to stay up until 6 p.m. starting December 21st up until January 5th, of course excluding the weekend and holidays. And that's just to give our taxpayers some additional time to come in maybe after work, where they won't have to come in during those very busy few days.
Again, thank you for the convenience. We always say tax administration is looking at customer service. And this is good customer service, being flexible and looking at these hours. Are there things that taxpayers can do to avoid long lines and long wait times, or to make this a smoother process?
Absolutely. There's actually several things taxpayers can do or options they can choose from to make this process a little bit easier for them. First, taxpayers can mail in their payment to us or to our processing center in Charlotte. Again, according to North Carolina laws, we can postmark that envelope as long as they get into us by January 5th, even if we don't get it for several days. Also, we have an outside drop box. Feel free to drop your payment into the drop box. We check that twice daily, and we will process the payment on the same days. And all you have to do, if you would like a receipt, is write on the envelope or on your payment that you would like one, and we will mail you out a receipt. On top of that, if you really do want to come in and pay, then we just ask that again, you just wait with us. We will be with you as soon as we can, but we will be calling people in one at a time, and just wait for us to call you in. And then secondly, we will be returning all calls the same day that they come in. Some of those calls may come in the evening time just because we will be prioritizing our walk-in traffic. But we ask that all taxpayers, if you do call in to ask us a question, please just leave one voicemail. Some taxpayers, and we completely understand, they want their questions answered, and we understand that entirely. But if they call and leave multiple voicemails, that takes up more time because, one, we're listening to every voicemail, and we're going to call back every single one of them, which could result in the same taxpayer receiving multiple callbacks. And then the last few options, which we have standard throughout the year, you have the option to pay by phone. The phone number for that is 866-251-3264. You will need your bill because it will ask you for a few pieces of information off that bill to accurately pull up your account. And lastly, you can go to our website to make your payment securely online. And our website is www.ustaxdata.com/rock, R-O-C-K, tax site, S-I-T-E. And again, you'll be able to look up your account using your name, your account number, your address, and easily make your payment that way as well.
Wow, you all have done a lot of planning, I can tell. Do you foresee or expect any other issues that could create even more challenges during this time?
Unfortunately, yes. And the biggest one is the coronavirus itself. As we now enter into the flu season, and of course, being indoors, you have a higher risk of contracting the virus. If one of our staff members was to get the coronavirus and expose our team members, it can most certainly create havoc on our staffing abilities. So that is why we're asking every taxpayer that comes in, please follow our mask and social distancing policies. These are in place to not only protect us, but to protect you as well.
Good. We want to thank Babby Moore and Stephen Yantz for all the details, the suggestions, explaining the new changes and how you're doing extra things in order to make it more convenient for our taxpayers. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to hear from Mark McClintock, the tax administrator for Rockingham County government. And now we're back talking taxes, and we have the top person in the tax department, our tax administrator, Mark McClintock. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Yes. How has COVID-19 affected the operations of the tax department?
Well, COVID-19 has been a challenge to both our staff and our customers. Even right now, I'm wearing the mask and following all the county protocols to keep our staff and customers healthy. The masks are required in the governmental center. Customers visiting the governmental center, they check in now at a booth, ask a few questions, then they remain in their cars, and we call them on their cell phone to come in to keep them distanced and safe. If they don't have a cell phone, we will go out to the car. Sometimes we can assist them at the car, or we will bring them in to one of the windows that we have set up to wait on our customers to keep them distanced and keep them safe. The last week of December, the first week of January, are usually extremely busy for us. We get many phone calls and many taxpayers who've waited to the last few days before interest starts to accrue to pay. So we're trying to plan for that this year. And while I'll apologize in advance for the inconvenience, we want to make sure that we're able to socially distance our customers and appropriately distance our staff so that everyone remains healthy. This year, we're preparing to safely wait on our customers. Our Deputy Tax Collector, Stephen Yantz, will go into more detail on that. But I encourage everyone to mail their payments early. Use our outside drop box. Pay online. Pay by phone. If you call during that busy time, we get hundreds of calls that time of the year. Try to leave only one message that day, and we're going to try, if at all possible, to call you back that business day. We'll be available to take payments until 6 p.m. on December the 21st through the 23rd, December the 29th through the 31st, and January the 4th and 5th to give our taxpayers an additional 8 hours to pay that they normally wouldn't have. We're hoping this way anyone that comes to the governmental center and is checked in will get waited on, and we have some extended hours to lessen that pressure of getting here before 5.
That's good. Thank you again for those conveniences that you've added. And in talking with Stephen a few minutes ago, when he mentioned that, we were saying this gives the taxpayer more time, especially for folks who are working all day, and they'll have an extra hour to come by.
Yes, and while we're encouraging everyone that can mail their payments or pay online or use our Dropbox, we'll also be able to come out to that curb, and there will be some taxpayers who may be infirm that we can help by taking their payment in and coming back out.
That's good.
So we're trying to think of everything we can to keep our customer and our staff safe, but at this busy time of the year to keep congestion down as much as possible.
What help is out there for people who may be elderly or disabled? And you kind of mentioned some things about what you can do as far as curbside service, but there are some additional caveats that you can add that are very, very important.
Well, there are exclusions available that can help our disabled, our elderly, and our disabled veterans.
That's great.
There are several great programs that apply to your permanent residence and 1 acre of land. You must be the owner or one of the owners to apply and qualify. One of those programs is the homestead exclusion, and to benefit from this, you must be 65 or older, totally and permanently disabled. Your total income from every source needs to be under $31,500 if you're single, or if you're married, the combination of both you and your spouse under $31,500. If you're under 65 and disabled, you would need a doctor's certification to receive this benefit. But if you do get the benefit, you qualify for $25,000 of assessed value to be forgiven off your tax bill, or 50% of the assessed value of your property to be forgiven. So if your property is valued $25,000 or under, you would have your entire tax bill forgiven. If your property was valued at $100,000, $50,000 in value would be forgiven. And this benefit is available to any owner. So if you own property with other people, you can receive the maximum benefit up to your proportionate share. Another great program is the Disabled Veterans Exclusion. This has no income qualifier, but you can receive up to $45,000 of the assessed value forgiven on your residence in 1 acre. This means that if your value is under $45,000, you would pay nothing that year. If it was a $100,000 piece of property, you would only pay on $55,000. One good thing is the spouse of a qualifying disabled veteran who was disabled with 100% due to his service can continue to receive this benefit even if the veteran passes, or the spouse of a veteran who died in service could receive this benefit and continue to receive it as long as they occupy the property and don't remarry. One of the last benefits available is called the circuit breaker. This one is geared more to higher dollar properties, but once again, you would need to be 65 years old or permanently and totally disabled with a certificate from your doctor if you're disabled. The difference in this program is the income amount you can make is higher. It's $47,250. But you only pay 5% of your income, which could be as much as $2,362. But the remainder of what you don't pay is deferred, and it is a lien on your property. If you have a disqualifying event, that has to be paid back with interest. To give you an idea, though, of what that equates to, if you live in the county and you live in a fire district, $2,362 tax bill, if you have the county tax rate and a 10% fire district rate, is about a $300,000 piece of property. So in our county, the values are not usually so high that this is a popular option. We have no one that currently participates in this program. For any of these exclusions, if you get sick or you have to move out of your residence because of a health-related issue, if you had to go into assisted living or live with a family member, if your property remains vacant or is only occupied by a spouse, one of the other owners of the property, or a dependent, you can still receive that benefit.
Okay. That's very, very important. And people can find all of this information on your website.
Yes, ma'am. We have brochures available. We have all the information on our website. We have the application you can download from our website. You can contact us here and we can mail you an application. We can email you an application. Our website is www.myrockingham.county.nctax.com. Our number is 336-342-8305. Please call and we will be glad to help you.
So how do we apply? I think you just answered that.
All right. You can apply for this benefit between January 1 and June 1 of each year.
Okay.
So you would need to apply January 1, 2021 through June 1 of 2021.
And when should we apply it? You just gave us that. Between January 2021 and June 1st, 2021. Okay, and who should we contact?
Well, this program is administrated through our real estate division. You can contact me at 336-342-8382 anytime. That's my direct number. You can contact the tax department at 342-8305. Go to our website and we have email addresses at myrockingham.county.nctax.com.
You have given us so much great information. We will be following up on this, and we know people at home who are watching are saying, let me write this down. This is something maybe we can use, or someone in our family or someone we know down the street or in our church that maybe can benefit. Thank you again to our tax administrator, Mark McClintock. You and your staff are on the case. Thank you for all of the extra things you're doing in order to help to keep us safe. And we will be certainly able and ready to work with you if there are additional informational pieces that you need to share with the citizens of Rockingham County. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you very much.
Rockingham County 411. You're in a good place.